this episode of Eric Mintel Investigates, Eric Mintel and Dominic Sattele descend on Jenkintown, Pennsylvania and investigate the historic Jenkintown Library. Unusual paranormal activity has been felt by the staff and by patrons. Who knows what the team will come up against on this episode of Eric Mintel Investigates, the Jenkintown Library. My name is Eric Mintel. By night, I'm a professional jazz musician. But by even later at night, I investigate the paranormal. I, along with my team at Eric Mintel Investigates, travel the country, investigating all things paranormal. This is Eric Mintel Investigates.
We're here at the Jenkintown Library celebrating the 150th anniversary of Jenkintown. This library goes back to the early 1800s, and there's a lot of history and a lot of mystery tonight on Eric Mintel Investigates.
The Jenkintown Library, housed in the historic Jenkintown Lyceum building, is truly unique. Originally constructed in 1839, this landmark building was expanded between 1909 and 1910. The library itself has a long history, having been organized in 1803, and it has since earned a place on the National Register of Historic Places. Eric Mintel Investigates was recently called in to explore some otherworldly happenings at this remarkable location.
Hi, I'm Nina Meister, and I am the director of the historic Jenkintown Library. So I've been here since 2021. It's been a very interesting journey trying to navigate the old and the new in this building. We've had a lot of changes. We had a huge flood in December of 2023, which has shut down our basement bookseller for an entire almost half a year, over half a year at this point. We have seen some really interesting stuff happen. For instance, in 2022, I was just talking with my friends. It was at the end of the day. We had just closed up. We were just chatting about our work days, and every once in a while I would joke about this place because, you know, the atmosphere is a little spooky and there's lots of old paintings and statues and things like that. And I used to say, my totally not haunted library, whenever I talked about this place. When I was saying my totally not haunted library, I heard this huge crash. I gasped and I turned around. I didn't see anything at first. I went back into the building. The lights were all off. And there on top of the circulation desk was the light cover that covers the light above the desk. It had fallen completely down and had knocked everything off the top of the desk. Maybe it was going, maybe it was not in the, most stable condition at the time, but it was odd that it chose that moment. One of the instances that I think most people on staff at the time remember, and my entire board remembers at this point, there was an incident where one of our basement doors opened. This door does not open easily, and it doesn't close easily. It is very particularly rusted at the bottom, so it's very hard to get it to move. This door opened by itself, and not only did it open by itself, it didn't trigger the alarm, which it normally would do. A member of our volunteer group went downstairs to get something out of the basement and found it open. We wound back our security footage and saw that the motion sensors caught it closed and then open. Everyone has their own opinions about it. I felt like because we are seeing the 150th anniversary of town and we have this history in this building, I wanted to get some clarity. So I asked the board if we could host an investigation, which is something that they agreed to wholeheartedly. It was something that they really felt was necessary. And so we agreed to contact Eric. After the board meeting, I was locking up and turning out the lights, and I turned off the light and I heard this really shrill electronic noise. And I turned around and one of the toys from the children's program just started operating by itself. I booked it. I left. I was out the door. I waited outside for my ride. I was not going to stay in that building any longer than I had to, even on a hot June day. So after we contacted Eric, I wanted to make sure that we got the best view of Jenkintown Library's history. And what better way to do that than by getting the former staff member, who is also a local historian, recently published author. Marion Rosenbaum has been a Jenkintown native all her life and is recently published as an authority on the subject of Jenkintown.
I was asked to recommend possible historical figures that might be candidates for unfinished business and possible ghost stories. And I immediately go back to 1803 when the members of the Abington Library moved books around Jenkintown and was in the Masonic Temple for a while. Any of those members could be researched. I think of John Ridpath and his daughter Florence, who later became a librarian in this building for many, many years. I think those that family are possible candidates. Starting in 1838, the fifth generation of the Jenkins family, Mary Jenkins Ross, and any of the mostly Quaker members of the Jenkins Lyceum. Later, I think you have librarians and staff members here, and there may be some unfinished business there. I wouldn't rule that out.
I arrived late afternoon and met with Library Director Nina Meister.
Dom's on his way.
Okay.
But I figured I'd just get here first because you know what? We talked about some stuff the other day during the interview.
Yeah.
But I want you to show me a few more things.
Okay.
Because we didn't really get a chance to see too much. So why don't you take me to that first spot that you heard that toy thing came through?
Yeah.
Let's go check that out.
Okay.
Cool.
I followed Nina into the community room. She then told me this incredible story.
It was right after the board meeting where I had asked the board for us to bring you guys in. Mm-hmm. The board talked it over. They agreed it would be a good idea to have you. And I was just cleaning up after the meeting when suddenly I heard this really like shrill buzzing noise, like almost like a static, like, you know, old TV static?
Yeah.
And it was coming from over here where the toys normally are. And I don't know what made the noise, whether it was that Bluetooth speaker or whether it was like one of the electronic toys that is mixed in here. But it went on for like 3 seconds, like 3 good seconds.
Wow. So how did that make you feel when you heard that?
So first I was like, what is going on? And I turned and I was more confused than anything. And when I didn't see anything, but the sound was still going, and it was this like, very much like, you know when your TV's on standby or when the old...
Yeah, it's got like that high pitch.
Yeah, I was like, nope, I'm not sticking in this room. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna walk calmly and then I'm gonna bolt. And that's what I did.
I'd be interested to see if Dominic tunes into this because I haven't said anything about anything. Where was there was another story you had as well, right?
Yes, that actually happened in the basement.
Oh, wow. Well, let's talk about that.
We'll start from the beginning.
Okay.
Before heading to the basement, Nina remembered security footage showing the door open in the basement.
I don't know how far back this footage thing goes, but...
After several attempts, it was clear that the footage was no longer on the computer.
So unfortunately, the footage is a little too old, so it's not on here. That would have been really, really great to see. But we're going to go down to the basement anyway and see that door and see, you know, again, look at it and try to see will it come open easily or not. So let's go down and check it out.
Now that we were down in the basement, Nina took me to the area where the door was wide open on the security footage.
This is the door here.
This is the door.
So
I defy you to try.
Oh wow! And there's the camera. There's the camera, which would you know show the door open. Mm-hmm. Wow. So the door. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's hard. That's hard to get open. Mm-hmm. Is this alarm gonna go off?
It will, but I'll go up and turn it off.
Okay.
But.
Wow. And this goes right to the outside,
Yep.
obviously. Wow.
Now, try to shut it.
Wow, that's like, yeah, that's really hard. Yeah, that's not shutting.
Yeah.
I think you have to lift it. There you go.
That's right.
Wow. So you just saw it.
Yeah.
You have to lift it and
move it.
so that was totally open.
Totally open.
And
Wide open. You could see sunlight coming in.
And that was completely closed.
And not only that, it didn't trigger the alarm, which it
Wow.
would.
Really?
Yes.
That's concerning.
Next, Nina took me to the oldest section of the library, the sub-basement. Recently, the library had a bad flood down here, destroying many books.
Right, they had a huge flood here. And so they're doing some renovations, but this whole place was like literally underwater down here. In our research, we've felt like maybe some people are connected to those energies.
We've had a lot of employees, both current and former, who just, they don't like being down here.
What happens is when Dominic gets on site, he always tunes in on something else that maybe nobody knows about.
Right.
And it's all of a sudden another story starts unfolding. I can't wait for you to meet him. Nina, thank you
Wonderful.
so much.
Yeah,
so much
thank
fun.
you.
This is going to be great.
It's so great for the 150th anniversary of Jenkintown for us to do something like this, to really get a look at the history of this town, this library, through a different lens. I really think that paranormal or not, we're getting a look at the history of this library that you can't get any other way.
Dominic Sattele arrived at the library. His presence immediately shifted the atmosphere. He began to move through the space with his senses attuned to the unseen. Dom sat quietly, tuning into his surroundings. With each step, Dominic dove deeper into the silence, prepared to uncover whatever secrets the library had to reveal.
Was there a Victrola in the building that you know of?
Well, probably back in the day.
'Cause I'm seeing them winding it.
Okay.
So, and I thought I'm thinking it's out here because of the music, but I still could be getting it crossed, but I'm definitely getting the Victrola.
Okay, that's interesting. I'll have to look into that.
Dominic wasn't sensing anything down in this room. Something seemed to be crossing his wires.
The kids' room upstairs has been the kids' room since this place was a library. So that is.
We need to go up
Yeah.
there. Well, I
Interesting.
think we need to go up to the kids' room
Yeah, definitely.
and see. Maybe there's more activity up there.
Okay.
You never know. So
I'm
let's
ready.
go. All right, let's go. So Nina just told us that she gets these really weird vibes going up the stairs here. So she doesn't want to accompany us up the stairs. She just a very, very strange vibe. So we're going to go up on the stairs here, and we're going to go up to the children's room where Dom's already feeling the activity up there. Who knows what's upstairs? So let's go.
Before heading upstairs, Dominic was tuning in on a playful spirit in the main library.
Generally what most of my staff can report and I can testify to. I've heard stuff. I've heard people move around when I'm the only one in the building.
Do you hear whispers?
Yes.
Okay. So it's not. You can't make out what they're saying, but you hear.
I've heard whole words.
You have.
Yes.
Okay.
It's interesting that you say that because a lot of staff here who swear, like they'll either see a shadow or they'll hear something or something will happen that is just too uncanny to be real.
We made our way upstairs to the children's area, but as we were heading up the stairs, Dominic was tuning in on something otherworldly.
This is where the little boy is.
Yeah, it's registering something. He's right here. That's where you felt it.
Yeah, right in this area. Because I see him. You don't, but I see him.
A week later, I spoke with circulation assistant Rachel Penny about what she experienced in the children's library.
I was putting children's books back on the shelf, and as we put the books back, we also make sure that they are pulled out and facing, nothing's hidden behind. And so I touched all of the shelves around me as I was putting back books. And then I turned around to grab more books to put back, and when I turned back around, there were 3 different books on 3 different shelves sticking out. We joke about the library being haunted. Behind the circulation desk, we have a drawer, a rolling drawer, that has all of our hardware, equipment, our tools. So it's really heavy. It will roll open all the time at the slightest provocation. So I'm at the circulation desk, and I close one of the other drawers, and the hardware drawer slides open, as it does, and I close it. Right after I close it, I hear behind me in the back corner of the ceiling, there's creaking sound. It goes from the back corner across the roof and down.
The fact that Rachel just felt that energy is incredible. And what's even more awesome is that Dom was feeling the same energy up here.
Because I see them. You don't, but I see them.
You know, these places they're haunted. It's not necessarily a malevolent or scary thing. They liked being here. We're here in Jenkintown, Pennsylvania, investigating the Jenkintown Library.
Back in the main library, Dominic dropped a bombshell.
So what's going on?
I don't want to put it on camera.
No.
But I come in on an investigation. I sat down. I get in touch with spirit. I open myself up to allow them to come in so that I can focus on what they have to tell me. The issues sometimes that happens are people have spirits with them. Good, bad, whatever. They're always there. They're always present. She has some really strong people that have passed in her life. They wanted me to tell her things that she needed to hear, and it's private. When that happens, they're in my head. Her spirits needed her to hear something to help her with her journey in life. So, and that is kind of a roadblock for me when I'm trying to open up, letting other things to come in. So I had to help get what they wanted her to hear out. So hopefully that's done and I can focus in more and get more into it. When we walked back into the room, I said to Eric, we got to this point because we're going to go upstairs. And I said to Eric, I'm getting water damage. So I don't know why, but as soon as I walked in this room, I got water damage.
Well, that would be because below you, there is the basement where it was completely flooded in December of 2023.
Oh, wow.
And we had to completely gut it.
Okay.
We lost so much history, having to purge 2 feet of water plus everything that had been soaked in it.
Wow.
Since Dom was feeling the activity in the basement, we decided to start there.
Well, it's going crazy here. It just was doing a little bit of a dance down here. Oh, there you go. Now down here is where I usually like to see if we could get some orb activity down here.
Unfortunately, we didn't get any orbs, nor did we get any activity on the magnetometer.
So this just goes to show you, these can be fooled by a cell phone, which that's why we usually don't have cell phones. We usually carry flashlights.
Yeah.
Because of that. We want to make sure we're getting accurate readings, nothing fake.
The investigation quickly turned when Nina thought she heard footsteps upstairs.
Sorry, guys. I'm hearing steps or something from somewhere, and there's no one else in the building.
Now this is going into the original
Yes.
section.
So you just heard something? You just heard footsteps?
I just heard some footsteps to like you can hear it up there.
I think it's the girl skipping.
Nina just heard some kind of footsteps or something upstairs in this particular room. Dom, do you know where this is?
This is the main area where the front door is at. So this is coming in to that first section of the library.
The original building.
So this is the children's rooms all the way
All
up.
the way up, correct.
So could it be that maybe it's that little boy or that little girl?
I think it's
skipping?
the little girl skipping is what we heard, the footsteps. Because
You hear that? Seriously.
Is it in here?
I
it's
keep
like
hearing-
right out
yeah.
there.
Like you can hear something creaking.
And all this is...
Oh yeah, I hear it. Oh, come here, guys. You could hear something here.
Yeah.
But check it out, listen.
Over here now. No one, yeah, literally, multiple footsteps. Is someone up there?
There's something else besides that. That is footsteps.
Initially, the magnetometer wasn't reading anything. Now that we're hearing the footsteps, it's registering a 3.
Now,
But did you notice something? It's freezing right now.
It is absolutely freezing down here, yes. The ductwork's not insulated, but it is freezing down here.
Let me ask you this. Do you think Nina could be connected to that?
Her spirits that are with her
Or
are kind of bringing it in and enhancing
So they're
it.
they're enhancing it, I'd say.
So-
giving it more power.
Yes. But it's not malevolent. It's not...
Right.
It's,
Yeah, it's not scary.
No.
Let's get back up
That's-
Let's get back up.
We can go this way if you
Yeah,
want.
We can go this way. Let's go.
Yeah. I'm Dominic Sattele. I'm a spirit medium. I'm here with Eric Mintel Investigates, and we're investigating the Jenkintown Library.
Back in the main library, Dominic kept seeing the spirit of this little girl walking up and down the aisles of the books.
Her name's Patty. She's the one that skips around. So if you wanted to know her name is Patty.
Ooh. You just said that, Dom?
Yeah.
There was I got like a little wispy something or other.
Yep.
Going down this little aisle here.
Down there.
Oh, there you go. Just got one. I just got another orb there, just a little bit. There it is. There it is. There it is. There's something
Just
here.
went across.
Yep. So right down this aisle, we caught an orb here, and it was just after Dom felt the presence of this girl. I'm standing there, and I felt like, like a cold blast. That was really weird. I'm wondering, do you think there's any ties to the Underground Railroad here?
I'm wondering. I mean, we're close enough to Philadelphia that there's a really good possibility.
With no further activity, we decided to wrap up the investigation.
And, when you're bringing spirits in, you had no idea
Right.
you were bringing somebody with.
No.
So, it's a gift for me to be able to share that with you. So
I really appreciate that.
And they were really pestering me, which wasn't helping me trying to focus on this. So,
I
but
really appreciate you talking to me about
Sure.
it. So thank
Well, listen, Nina, thank you so much.
good to meet
Thank
you.
you. Absolutely. Nice to
Very
meet
good
you,
to meet
too.
you.
Wonderful to meet you, sir. And thank you so much, Tom.
that's our guy. Yeah.
Man, Dom, I mean, another one of the books.
Dude, there's so much going on here. Orb upstairs
Yeah.
in that one aisle. There's so much to tune into.
Yeah.
It's just been crazy.
Well, let's get back to the office. Let's look at the footage.
I want to see if we can hear those footsteps.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Crazy.
A few weeks later, I went back to the library's basement where we heard those footsteps. I was sorry I did.